public, if they're interested, have a chance to hear what's going on in my courtroom today. Okay, that's working now. You are Sharima Fells, and you are here on a motion to issue a PPL but Ms. Valida Potts, who is the one that's seeking the motion, is not here. Give me just a moment. Shannon, does the Register of Actions indicate what Ms. Potts' phone number is?
Ooh, let me check.
Don't put it on the record.
No, sir, it says everything is suppressed.
Okay. She had originally scheduled this for November 5th, and no one appeared that day. And now she's rescheduled it for today, and only the respondent has appeared. Let me make sure the time it was scheduled. It's scheduled for 10 o'clock. Ms. Fells, I have one other matter. Oh, wait a minute. She has shown up. Let me get her in. Ms. Potts, can you hear me? I don't think we have a connection yet. No, here we go. Okay, maybe now. Ms. Potts, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, and Ms. Falls is also present. So we're here on Ms. Potts, your motion to issue a personal protection order.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to take some testimony from you. Actually going to put you both under oath. Would you each raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you each swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. Potts?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fells?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hands down. So I'm going to hear from each of you individually. I want the other to be quiet while the other party is testifying. You will get a chance to testify, but we do things in order. So, Ms. Potts, since you're the petitioner, we'll start with you. Could you state your full name for the record?
Yes, Valletta Marie Potts.
And Ms. Potts, what is the nature of your relationship with Ms. Fells?
Actually, Your Honor, I don't really even know her. I just know of her. We were both dealing with the same guy, and that's where the issue came in.
Okay. You were both interested in the same man?
We were both dealing with the same guy, same man.
All right. Okay. And who is that?
His name is Marquez Cadell.
Do you have a relationship with him?
Yes, I did. I no longer have a relationship with him.
And when did that relationship end?
It's been ended since like the end of October.
Okay. And what is it that Ms. Fells has said or done that you believe requires that a personal protection order be entered?
Well, first of all, she started texting me from his phone on October 20th at 3:30 in the morning, calling me all kind of names and saying all kind of threatening things. Then she went on to call from her phone, harassing me, leaving me belligerent voice messages, calling me all out of my name, you know. And I'm like this, Your Honor. I had no issue with this lady because I don't even know her, and I have no reason because I don't fight over guys. That's one thing I don't do. I got more important things to do with my time. Plus, I'm disabled, so I didn't have no issue with her until she started calling my phone and texting my phone. If she wouldn't have never started calling and texting my phone, we wouldn't even had no issue. I wouldn't have had no reason to come down there and file no PPO. But one thing I'm not gonna have is somebody calling and harassing me and stalking me on my phone that I pay my phone bill for every month to take care of my business and for my doctors to call me.
What sorts of things was she saying when she would call you?
She was calling me bees and hoes and talking about my coochie was rotten and all kind of stuff. And then she said something about that she was gonna see me with her clit and she was gonna dog walk me and all this crazy nonsense.
All right, the last part broke up just a little bit. Could you say that again?
I said she called me talking about that she was gonna see me with her clique. I guess she was gonna see me with her clique and jump me, and that she was gonna dog walk me.
All right, with her clique, that means you're with her friends?
Yes,
All right, and then I don't understand that other expression, dog wop. What do you understand that to mean?
that means that she's gonna fight me. She gonna beat me up.
Did in any of these communications, did she indicate to you why it was she was upset with you?
No, but it's plain to see that if she start texting me from his phone, and start talking about all this craziness about he's not gonna never act right because he's always up under her, the same bitch that I'm always talking about and this and that. I don't talk about her. He was talking about her to me. That's the whole point. And that's the thing she needs to realize. Just like he was a dog that brings a bone, gives a bone, also brings a bone. You know what I'm saying? If somebody comes back and tell you something that somebody else said, you best believe 9 times out of 10 they was talking to in order for that person to even said anything about them. You know what I'm saying? So that's where she's failing to realize he was playing both sides. That's what this is
I
all about.
see.
But yet and
She
still,
she
but yet and
she
still
was
she was
upset.
childish. She was childish for even texting me from his phone, because that's where it began from on October 20th at 3:30 in the morning. She was texting my phone at 3:30 in the morning, which, Your Honor, I already have problems sleeping, okay? I have disabilities and emotional problems and everything, and I have problems getting to sleep. And I had just got to sleep that night, and she come texting up through my phone at 3:30 in the morning. Now that shows you anybody that has that type of mentality to sit up and play on somebody's phone at 3 something in the morning, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way that I
So
would have ever did that.
okay, uh, is it your belief that she was calling and texting you out of jealousy that you were talking to Marquez?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what this is all about. That's what it's all about, because I don't even know this lady. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know her. I've seen her around, but I don't know her.
All right, well, in
She
any
has,
event, your relationship with Marquez is over, at least from your perspective.
yes, absolutely.
Do you know if it's over from Marquez's perspective?
Well, I mean, he has no choice. He called me like about last week, he called me trying to come over, and I told him, no, I don't want nothing else to do with you. Go call your girlfriend. You brought problems to me that I did not need, so I have no need for you. And I haven't heard anything else from him. So I'm hoping he got sense enough to leave me alone because this is stuff that I do not tolerate. I don't play these childish games. I'm a grown woman and I got grown woman problems.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Fells, are there any questions that you would like me to ask Ms. Potts before you testify, or do you just want to tell me your side of this?
I just want to tell you my side of the story. I don't want to ask no questions, Your Honor.
Okay, so I need you to state your full name for the record.
My full name is Sharima Aquila Fells.
So, Ms. Fells, do you acknowledge that you texted Ms. Potts from Marquise's phone beginning on October 20th?
I did not. No, I did not. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
She just made all of that up?
Yeah, she's thinking it was me that was calling her phone, but Your Honor, I was at home in my own bed. I'm not even supposed to be around Marquez Cadell. I have a PPO out on him as well. I am not supposed to be around that man or I will be going to jail. So I haven't been around Marquez, haven't seen Marquez, or haven't heard of Marquez, Your Honor. So that's all lies.
So what you're telling me is if there was someone texting her and calling her from Marquez's phone, it wasn't you?
It wasn't me.
She says initially the calls came on the texting came on Marquez's phone, but then later there were calls from your phone. How would she know it's your phone?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How you know it's my phone? You got any evidence or proof that it's my phone? That's what I want to see. You got any evidence or proof that it was my phone?
So your defense to this is you never texted her, you
No,
never
I did
called
not,
her.
Your Honor. No, I did not.
She's got the wrong person.
You have the wrong person because it's not me. I haven't been around Marquez, haven't seen Marquez.
You know who Marquez is.
Yes, I do.
Did you at some time have a relationship with Marquez?
Yes, I did. I had a relationship with him for 2 years. But the 2
And
years ended when I got my PPO and I put him out.
All right, let me see if I can pull that up.
And then, Your Honor, I got false allegations that I was calling her phone and coming to her job. I don't even know, and coming to her house. I don't even know where this woman stay at, or I don't even know where she work. So how you gonna claim me for coming to your job or coming to your house? I don't even know where you stay.
All right,
I never seen you before.
hold on a minute. Well, she says she doesn't know you either, so.
Right. That's what I'm trying to claim. How you gonna say I was at your house or at your job?
All right. So,
Okay.
yes, indeed, this shows that there's been a PPO in place by you against Marquez since February
Yes,
of this
indeed.
year. Okay, so let me, I'm going to go back and hear a little more from Ms. Potts. So, Ms. Potts, I didn't ask you this because I wasn't anticipating that Ms. Fells was going to say that if somebody was calling you, it wasn't her. How do you know it was Ms. Fells that was texting you on Marquez's phone?
Because I just do. Because I do. And because after that, after she was texting me on his phone, she was calling from her phone. And I know her voice. That's how. You know what I'm saying? I can tell her
Well,
voice the same.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. When you testified initially, you told me you had no idea who this person was.
Yeah,
You've
I
never
don't
had
know
any
her.
dealings with him.
I don't know her, but I have heard her on the phone before. I've heard her talk to him on the phone before. But my whole thing is she texted me and left me voice message. I have the text messages and the voicemails to prove that I'm not lying about this. You know, and who else would be calling me and texting me from his phone? I don't know if she's lying, saying that she hasn't been around him because she has the PPO and she's scared she's gonna get in trouble, but she's been around him. Who else would have been texting me from his phone? And even he said that it was her that texted me from his phone. And then she went on later on that same day and started calling me from her phone. Come on now, stop it. Come on. She's the one lying. I don't have no reason to lie about nothing like this. I don't have
Well,
no
hold
reason to
on.
lie.
Hold on. Um, Now, you're saying that Marquez told you she was the one that got his phone and texted you.
Yes.
All right. But that's considered hearsay. I'd have to hear from Marquez before I could accept that testimony.
Okay,
The
that's
other
fine.
the other thing you said is that she was calling you from her phone. How do you
Yes.
know it was how do you know it was her phone, first of all?
Because she said it when she called and I answered my phone. She said, "Yeah, ho, I'm not about to leave you no number, but I am about to call you back with my with a message." And she got to calling me all out my name and stuff.
And
We were arguing back and forth on the phone
you
when she called me.
you recognized her voice?
Yes, it's the same voice that's on here today. I have the voice messages to prove it. I wish it was a way that I could get to my voicemails and my text messages right now. That's why I wish we could have been in person in the courtroom so I could have submitted this evidence because I don't
All
want to
right.
be like I'm lying. I don't have time. I don't have time to just be coming down there making no false reports on
All right.
nobody. I got better stuff to do with
Here's
my
here's what I'm going to do. I am going to I'm not going to issue the PPO. I am going to tell you, Ms. Fells, if you indeed were the person that was texting or calling Ms. Potts.
I
I
wasn't, Your
don't I
Honor.
don't I don't want that to ever happen again.
But
I
you did.
think you both have told me that neither one of you want to have anything to do with this man. There should be no further reason for either one of you to be communicating. I think that's the way we're going to leave it. I don't think a PPO is necessary. I'm going to deny the request.
I think it's necessary, Your Honor, because for the simple fact, if she would have never got, she has access to my number now. I've even
I do not have an order in this one, Shannon. Okay, I think we're ready on Hughes versus Short. All right, Ms. Hughes, you can hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Short, looks like we finally have a connection too. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I actually scheduled this after our last hearing when I heard testimony that was directly contradictory. I heard Ms. Hughes testify that school was telling her that the children didn't attend school the week of October, I can't remember the start of the week, but the week that ended on October 16th. And Mr. Short testified categorically that indeed the children did attend school that week. I directed Ms. Hughes to get information from the school, and she has provided me with an attendance record that shows that indeed the children were not at school that week. So, Mr. Short, it appears to me that while you were under oath in my courtroom, you told me a bald-faced lie.
It's actually, I'd love a chance to explain it.
Well, I want to get you under oath first. I want you to raise your right hand. You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name.
Travis Short.
So, Mr. Short, what is your explanation for why you testified that your children were in school the week that ended with October 16th, when in fact, according to the school records, all of these children received unexcused absences for that week?
Yes, what had happened, it ended up falling down to ignorance on my part, Your Honor. I didn't understand that there's a deal where they have to do Zoom meetings at a specific time of the day, that if they don't do that Zoom meeting, even if they have been doing their schoolwork, they get an absolute zero unexcused absence for that time. My other children that I have in another program at Da Vinci, that's not at Paragon, which is where these children were originally supposed to start, but that's not what today's court session is about, don't have to do anything like that where it's a requirement, and I didn't even realize what was going on. So that is entirely my fault, and I do admit that that's on me.
So you're telling me that your children did do online schoolwork that week, but
Yeah.
they did not log into the Zoom time as they were supposed to?
Correct. And if they, and then it took me some figuring out to realize that's why they were actually marked as completely unexcused absences, when in fact they had been doing the schoolwork, but it just wasn't counting. And again, I feel about it. I'm not happy about it. I've never done anything like this before. This is the first school year that Miss Hughes has actually had any involvement in their actual going to school. It's been me since the beginning, preschool. And I've never allowed anything like that to happen. And certainly I would never, for any reason, on purpose, stop my children from going to school or anything like that, especially out of spite towards her or whatever the case may be. That just wouldn't happen.
Well, since that week, I now have information from Ms. Hughes to indicate that they missed another full week of school from October 26th through October 30th. Do you have an explanation for that?
Again, it was more other than the last 2 days. It was we were on the Wednesday of the last day of the second week, so it would have made 8 days at that point, was when I realized what was actually going on here. And at that point, once I was getting ready to take them to school, my car just wasn't making it. I've been having a lot of car issues. I won't be able to get my vehicle fixed. And that's another thing too. Me and Ms. Hughes had agreed to online only, and then she switched them to this in-school thing, and it's just kind of why there's been so much confusion. It's that on September, I believe it was 11th or 10th, when we had court, she improperly served me, so I wasn't allowed to show up for court. I didn't even know we had court, and therefore I didn't really get to understand exactly what was going on. Apparently the order that you signed said that she could enroll them at that school at Paragon without my permission. As far as I understand, that's what happened. But apparently that order somehow also says that she can furthermore change their scheduling as much as she'd like, whatever she'd like, because that's what's kind of been going on here. She 100% agreed to online with this whole COVID stuff going on. I think it's crazy for any parent, especially if able to do virtual learning right now. I think that's what really needs to be done. That's what we agreed on. And this is still just kind of getting switched around, and it's all just a big mess.
So the week in question at our last hearing was the 12th through the 16th. I've heard your explanation of that. I have now records showing that they did not participate according to the school. They had unexcused absences for the full day, the entire week of October 26th, the 26th through the 30th. And you're telling me that at least on the 29th and 30th, you weren't able to get them to school because you were having car trouble.
Right.
And I think if I understood correctly, you're saying the reason that they're showing unexcused for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week is that you still did not understand at that point that they had to actually participate in the Zoom meeting to be counted as present. Is that fair?
Correct, yes. Because they had been doing the schoolwork, but if that one Zoom thing didn't align, it didn't matter if they did, 3 days worth of schoolwork in one day, it wouldn't.
Well, tell me what happened the week of October 19th through 23rd then, because I don't have anything showing unexcused absences for that week.
That was, so wait, so the first week was the beginning of what? I guess I'm confused here, but which week's what?
The first week that you testified about at the last hearing was the week of the 12th through the 16th. I've heard your explanation of that.
Okay.
The week after that is the week of the 19th through the 23rd. I don't have any information showing that they missed that week, so I'm assuming that they were present for school that week. Let me ask Ms. Hughes. Ms. Hughes, did they indeed have school that week?
They had school that week. He dropped them off Monday, Tuesday, and then they were at home Wednesday. There was no schoolwork done for them on Wednesday that week. And then Thursday and Friday, he called and said to the school that his car was broke down. So they gave them 2 excused absences for last week, Thursday and Friday.
So, well, wait a minute.
Yeah, I might have had my weeks mixed up here. I'm not.
Let me, Ms. Hughes, I'm going to put you under oath too. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name.
Bretta Lynn Hughes.
So, Ms. Hughes, I want to make sure I understand from your perspective. The children had virtual school only the week of October 12th through the 15th. There was no school on the 16th because that was for parent-teacher conferences?
No. There was school that week, regardless of parent-teacher conferences. I also spoke with their teachers that week for parent-teacher conferences, but they did not attend that week. The next week.
Wait. Oh, hold on, because that's not squaring. The information you submitted previously showed them unexcused for the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th only.
Right, the 16th, they did not have school that day, so there was nothing.
All right, well, that week, it indicates, the parent-teacher conferences were on the 14th. I got you.
Yes.
but no school on the 16th.
Correct.
All right. Did you attend the parent-teacher conferences on the 14th?
Yes, I had Zoom meetings with the teachers on the 14th.
Do you know if Mr. Short participated?
As far as I'm aware of, he did not.
Okay, and according to the calendar you brought, that you submitted, they did indeed have school the following week, the 19th through the 23rd.
Correct.
Was that live in school?
Yes, Your Honor. They were to be in school Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and online on Wednesday. They were not present for any of those days, and they did not do any of their Wednesday online school.
All right, well, that's what I'm confused about. You submitted attendance records for all 3 children for the week of October 26th, but you did not submit anything for the week of October 19th.
Right, correct, because they were at my house that week, and I took them to school. I'm sorry, my weeks were confused. So yes, they were at school that week because they were at my house.
Gotcha. That was your week. They went to school on your week.
Yes,
The
I'm sorry.
following week was Mr. Short's week.
Right, the 26th through the 30th.
All right, and that since you obtained these attendance reports for that week, Mr. Short's week, you've learned that the school changed the unexcused for the 29th and the 30th to excused.
No, the 29th and the 30th were not unexcused. It was the following week of Travis's parenting time that was Thursday and Friday. So the week of November 9th through the 13th.
I don't have anything for that week.
Yeah, I haven't received the records from the school.
Let's back up to make sure we're talking about the same week. I think there's some confusion here. So the first week in question that you testified at the last time was Mr. Short's week, and that was the week of October 12th.
Correct.
The following week was the week of October 19th, and the children were with you, and they attended all of their school that week.
Correct.
The week after that is the week beginning October 26th. Again, Mr. Short's week. And you've presented me with attendance records that show unexcused absences morning and afternoon every single day of that week.
Yes.
But your testimony is that is not the week that Mr. Short had the transportation issues?
Correct, that's not. The week that he had the transportation issues were last week when he communicated to the school.
Okay, and that would have been the week of November 9th.
Correct.
So, Mr. Short, is it your testimony that for the week of October 12th, for the week of October 26th, and for the first 3 days of the week of November 9th, on none of those days did your children log into their Zoom meetings because you didn't know they were supposed to?
I had heard something about Zoom, but I didn't know that it was imperative that they were on it for credit. So yes, for those first 3, it was the first, all the way up until that week when I started taking them last week, because that's when I had talked to the school and they explained the whole situation. And that's when Wednesday was their first it was the day of the week where they had to get on Zoom because there's no school for that day.
Did you participate in pretrial? That's when I see PT in the courtroom, it means pretrial. So I misspoke. Parent-teacher conferences on October 14th at Paragon. Did you participate?
No.
And why not?
I was absolutely unaware at the time.
May I say something?
Okay. Yes, you may, Ms. Hughes.
The weeks that the children were in school, they were to be in person, not on Zoom. So regardless if they were on their Zoom meeting and did their online homework, they still had to be in school to get their attendance credit. And every Sunday when Travis picks up from my house, I explain to him what the changes were, what needs to happen, and to make sure that he knows what needs to be done with the children so that they don't miss in their schooling. I communicate that effectively to him every Sunday when he does pick up.
So currently, are the children in school today?
Yes, Your Honor, I took them myself this morning.
And they've been having in-school, on-premises every week since the week of when?
It was the week of the 12th, the 12th through the 16th, I believe, was the first week of full in-person schooling that we adjusted for the kids.
Who's we?
But regardless,
Right.
they always went 2 days a week prior to that.
Even before.
Yes.
So you're saying during the week of October 12th that some of those days were in fact in school as opposed to Zoom?
Yes, 2 of them.
So if the children received unexcused absences for the 2 days that there was in-school instruction on the 12th, the week of the 12th, that means they didn't go to school that day.
Correct.
All right.
It was picture day that they were supposed to go, and I have the picture forms to get their pictures taken. But because he failed to take them, they were unable to have their pictures taken that day as well. So now they need to wait for picture retakes, which also falls on one of Travis's weeks if things weren't changed here with you today.
Was the week of October 26th, the last week of October, in school instruction?
Yes, 4 days a week that week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. They were to be in school, and then Wednesday is 100% online, and their assignments are uploaded by every hour of what they need to complete, and none of my children completed any of them within any time frame at all. They're still missing on their reports for school.
So, Mr. Short, who is it that ensures that your children are either in school or online doing their online work during the weeks that they're with you?
It's me.
It certainly appears that that's not happening on a consistent basis.
Well, like I said, it's been an absolute process. Like I said, I've got half of my family in one school that these kids were all supposed to start in, and then at the beginning of the school year, Miss Hughes illegally served me, put them in Paragon. And I tried to mention that to you last court case, but you said you didn't want to hear about it at that time because it wasn't here on, it wasn't about that happening at the time. And it's just been really absolutely confusing for me on this part. Like I said, I've got, 3 kids at home right now that are doing schooling on this, particular set of rules. I've got another 3 that I only have half the time that are doing on another set. It's just been kind of a mess to kind of figure out. And it's, like I said, on September, I believe it was 10th, I didn't even get notice that I had court on the 10th until I think it was the 11th or 12th in the mail. I mean, that's when she won the right to, without any reason or basis, take them out of Da Vinci where they were enrolled and ready to start. And, the school is actually calling me at that point saying, why haven't you brought the kids into school? And I was waiting to get to court with you, and it takes obviously several weeks for these matters to be taken care of, and it's just been a mess.
May I also make another statement? I received an email from my oldest son's teacher, Turner Short. Her name is Mrs. King. She sent me an email of a behavior report of Turner 2 weeks ago, stating that he was upset and slamming his Chromebook down because he knew that his father would refuse to take them to school the next week. So my 9-year-old is well aware that his dad is refusing to take him to school for no reason, but he's able to tell his teachers that he knows he will not be back to school until the following week that he's at my house.
Your Honor, that was me telling Turner that I did not want to take them to in-person once we get this figured out. I was telling him I hope that through the courts we can get it set to where it's only online only, as Ms. Hughes had originally intended and agreed to.
Right, but Turner was upset with his teacher that day because he was supposed to be getting a surprise or a prize for his behavior that week, and how well he was doing in school, that he was going to receive that following Monday. He was very upset, slammed his Chromebook down, walked out of class. There was a whole incident that Friday because Turner was well aware that Travis was not going to take them. So he was upset.
All right, I want to turn the subject now to the parenting time complaints. Ms. Hughes, you submitted a parenting time complaint indicating that you were denied parenting time
For Halloween and my makeup parenting time on Saturday.
I was having trouble understanding this. It says October 31st, which would have been
It would have been Saturday.
and your parenting time begins and ends on your week on what day?
Makeup parenting time was scheduled for Saturday at 6 p.m., but with it being the holiday, I was there at 9 a.m. to pick up for my holiday visitation with my children for Halloween.
I got it. So not only did you not get your makeup day, you didn't get your Halloween holiday.
Correct. And this will be the third holiday that Travis Short has kept my children from me that I've made reports to the courts about.
All right. And Mr. Short, you acknowledge that the children did not go with their mother on the Halloween holiday.
Yeah, I have a question about that. In my handbook that I had found online, in the online copy, I didn't see anywhere on the court part where it said that Halloween was acknowledged as one of the viewed holidays.
The handbook is quite clear. Halloween is indeed one of the holidays. Let me find it.
Like I said, I had the online version that I was referring to. I don't actually have it.
It should be identical.
I also brought my court handbook with me as well. I waited an hour outside of his house for the police to arrive, for Travis Short to even come out of the house to tell me he wasn't sending the children with me.
But there is a much better reason why they didn't go that day, Your Honor, that she hasn't mentioned.
He stated that they were sick.
Hold on. The handbook is very clear that on even numbered years, and this is an even numbered year, that the mother gets the Halloween holiday.
Well, then the thing that I had seen online is I don't know. But Your Honor, here's what had happened with that. That Thursday before Halloween, while the children were at my house, they started showing COVID-like symptoms. They had diarrhea, vomiting, and fevers. When Miss Hughes initially arrived that morning, whether it was the Halloween day or not, and I really honestly hadn't seen that in there. It doesn't really make a difference in that regard. But I spoke to Miss Hughes and said, I would really like to get these kids tested. I'd like to know if this is COVID. I'd like to be able to see what's going on with this, so we're not spreading this around if this is what's happening. You know, there's obviously a major upswing in cases and all this type of stuff going on right now. And she just kept telling me that she didn't care, that she didn't think it was COVID, and that she would have them tested on their own, which I've come to find is actually a lie now too. She absolutely assured me the kids would be tested that following week. And upon getting the kids back last time I had them, they told me that they didn't have anything like a test happened at all. So it's really just kind of been a big back and forth here. I obviously would have got them tested myself, but the day that I noticed the symptoms, when I called into where I take them in to be seen, they said it was going to be at least, I think it was 6 days was the earliest I'd be able to get them in at that point, which would have meant they were already going to be back in Miss Hughes's care. And therefore, I had no choice but to send them with her. And just like I knew she wouldn't, more than likely, she, from everything the kids told me, they never got tested in any way.
I took the children.
So just before we move on, for the record, I just checked the online version. It's identical to what I just read. Halloween on even numbered years is the mother's holiday. Ma'am, if you could address what Mr. Short just testified to about the COVID issue.
He, like I said, I waited for an hour for him to come outside on Saturday. He then told me that they were showing signs of COVID. I told them that there was a head cold that was going around my house the previous week, so just to keep an eye out. When he denied me that pickup parenting time, I went back for my makeup parenting time at 6 p.m. He denied me then again. He allowed me the children on Saturday or Sunday at 6 p.m. after he made a phone call to me at 3 p.m. stating that he was going to let me have the kids, but then I had to get them tested. He said that he was unable to get them tested until Thursday on my week, but I was able to take them into the walk-in clinic at Center for Family Health when I received my children Monday morning. I gave you a copy of the discharge paperwork and the notes that I also gave to the school that stated that they were a clean bill of health because there were no signs of COVID. They could not test them for COVID. If Travis believed that they were sick with COVID, he should have taken them to the walk-in clinic that Thursday and they would have tested them for COVID. But due to them not experiencing any signs or symptoms when I took them in on Monday, they gave them a clean bill of health and sent them to school the following day. He said Saturday that when I was there picking them up for my makeup parenting time, I asked him, because he told me that he had the children tested for COVID that week and that that's one of the reasons he wasn't going to give them to me. So when I asked him who he had tested, he said the children. I asked him if I could see the results of my older 3 children being tested or a proof that they were tested, and he slammed the door in my face and then called me Saturday or Sunday and told me I needed to get them tested because he failed to.
I am rapidly coming to the conclusion, Mr. Short. I know you're upset that there's a week on, week off parenting schedule in place and that you disagree with that. But I'm coming to the conclusion that you're doing everything in your power to frustrate that order. It's also becoming very clear to me that between the two of you, the mother certainly seems to be the one that's more on top of the children's schooling, that seems to be more on top of the children's health. I'm having serious reservations whether week on, week off parenting time is in the best interest of these children as it pertains to their time with you.
See, that's what's been the most frustrating thing here, Your Honor, is that in the past year, I guess I'm going to have to start my own. I've been looking into starting my own case. I've never been on the other side of the courtroom having to actually file something against her. It's always been me on the defensive side. In the past year, when I willingly gave her custody a year ago, I think that's incredibly important to remember, is that I willingly gave her half custody. She didn't win it in any sort of court case. Nothing else was happening. My mom had passed away, and in a moment of weakness, I decided to do the week on, week off thing with her, in which the problems began almost immediately. Once we got back in front of the referee, at front of the court, she gave me full custody back as soon as we got done with that.
He took it back and reserved it with the referee, and then I pushed
I know,
with you.
I know what happened with the referee. I know exactly what happened. I've ruled on that. I overruled the referee because I believe she was wrong. And what I'm seeing is that Ms. Hughes is the one who's being responsible with these children to make sure they're at school, to take them in to make sure they're tested, or if they need testing. And
right, Your Honor,
Mr. Short, you're the one who the children are with when they're not doing school. That's causing me serious concern. You make excuses. You make excuses about not being familiar with what the school requires. That's your job as a parent, to be familiar with what the school requires. Your children have missed a lot of school now this year when they've been in your care. They haven't missed any school when they've been in their mother's care. I'm having serious concerns about whether you should even have half custody. Here's what I'm going to do. You clearly have not been responsible about making sure that your children are in school. I am telling you today, if there are any more excused absences when the children are in your unexcused absences, when the children are in your care, I'm not going to hear any more excuses. It is your job as a parent to make sure that they are in school. I am finding that you are in violation of the parenting time order by denying mother the Halloween holiday. That's a very hard thing to make up. The only way I can do that is say, Ms. Hughes is going to get next year's Halloween holiday, even though it's yours. She's going to get that. She was also denied that makeup day, so that's going to have to be made up on a different day. So I ordered a certain number of days to make up for parenting time denials. Here's the one where they were denied. That needs to be made up and added on to the end of the last time.
Perfect. Okay.
I don't want to hear any more excuses. The next time I find out these children are being neglected by health reasons or for schooling reasons, I am going to schedule the matter for a custody hearing, take testimony, and decide whether or not maybe they should be in Ms. Hughes' custody the majority of the time. I'm not going to do that today. I don't actually have in front of me anything other than a parenting time complaint.
Real quick, would it matter if there is a open and active CPS case for negligence and abuse with Travis's home due to the fact of it getting started this past Tuesday with my son's counselor?
If there is a CPS investigation that results in a finding of some neglect or abuse in that home, you can certainly at that point file a motion to change custody.
Okay.
But it has to be confirmed. I mean, CPS investigates a lot of things, and some investigations are substantiated and some are not. I would want to wait until CPS is done with that before you would bring something like that to my attention. If there is a substantiated issue, that certainly would be a valid grounds for you to seek a change of custody.
Okay.
All right, I will issue an order confirming everything I put on the record today. That concludes our hearing. Peter, did you get all of that?
We need to have a little short talk. I got into most of it.
All right. I mean, historically, he was the guy who was there for them because she had drug issues, but she clearly is the responsible parent
Yeah.
here. He is. Okay, let's see. All right. We're waiting for Dr. Brintley's audio connection here. This is the matter of Smith versus Brintley. Good morning, Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Judge LaFlamme.
All right, looks like we've got a connection. Dr. Brintley, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
All right. Before I move forward with your case, I see somebody else in the waiting room. I want to find out who that is. So give me just a moment here. All right. Looks like is this Amanda Rodriguez?
Yes.
All right, I couldn't tell from your phone. I'm calling a different case now. I just wanted to see who that was. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room, and I'll call your case as soon as I finish this other one.
Okay.
Okay, so we are now on Smith versus Brintley. Looks like I've got, well, hold on a second. Looks like I might have two motions up. Well, I only have one listed on the docket. It's Mr. Smith's motion to enforce the previous court order. I thought I saw something else. All right, I guess that's it. Okay, Mr. Smith, go ahead with your motion.
I'm in response to an order that you put out in February because Lakeisha had come to the court as attempting to get her passport back. But at the time, she owed $36,000 in rearage on child support. And without that child support being paid, she was not to be issued that back. She came to court instead of with $9,000. She came with about $7,000. She came with a $7,000 check and requested that she pay that in lieu of the 25%. And then she stated that she would pay the additional 25% by September 30th. And that was an order put down by you in the court. At that time, you asked me if I would accept the $7,000 instead of $9,000. I said yes, and the fact that she was going to pay again by September 30th. So at the time, you recalled a bench warrant to apprehend that was placed on her, and you then lifted the restriction on her passport. So that was number one.
So she never paid. She did. Hold on a minute. She did pay the $7,000 or did not?
She did pay that. I guess that I know I was not in court. She was in court. I was on the phone, but she did pay the $7,000, and then you all forwarded that money to me. Yes.
All right, and then
But
she
she
was
did not
supposed
pay-
to, by September 30th, she was supposed to pay 25% of whatever her arrearage was at that time in order to maintain her passport.
Exactly.
All right, and she has not paid the 25% or whatever that number is as of September 30th.
Yes, and that was just over $36,000 at that time as well.
All right, give me just a second. I did have a report from the friend of the court. Let me see what it shows. So as of October 20th, the arrearage was, looks like $33,500. In order to maintain her passport, she would have had to pay not less than 25% of that amount no later than the end of October. And I'm sorry, that is not October 20th. It's the end of October of 2020.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I'm looking at October.
All right, I think I understand your motion. What specifically is it that you're asking the court to order?
For that, I'd like to have her passport revoked. At the time, I think you even stated you were tired of this happening, and I'm definitely tired of it. Anything that the court would do, I was asking that she be put in jail, to be honest with you, and surrender her passport and held in contempt of court, and then order her to pay immediately the amount of 25% of what she owes in arrearage.
Okay, let me hear from Dr. Brindley.
Your Honor, first I'd like to say good afternoon, and I'm glad to, or good morning, and I'm glad to hear that you're in good health during this current situation. First, I am responding because also, the other issue that is going on in this motion was also the girls' tuition. So I'm requesting of the court in response to what Kern is saying that he be held in contempt for not applying or submitting the application to be filled out for financial aid or scholarship support for Sydney and Kendall for this school year. You ordered that in February as well, and the application has not been received by the school. No one can find it because it had not been submitted. So I'm asking that that we talk about a credit towards my arrears for failure for him to apply for this aid. Kern is hoping, and you can hear it again, that this perceived adversarial relationship that I have, that is perceived that I have with the court, be held against me to mask over his failure to do what was ordered of him. And hence, I'm hearing all this negative rhetoric again and again that we have every single court proceeding. So I am asking for a credit of $20,952 towards my arrears, given his failure to apply for the aid for the girls, because it's been very challenging to keep up with their tuition, given the inexorbitant amount of monies that I'm expected to pay. And that's including not just their education, but transportation fees, sports fees. I mean, I'm getting every single bill. In addition to that, I'm asking for the court to forgive me for the incomplete payment towards the arrears, because given the public health crisis that we're in, and Michigan has been different than the southern states, I paid $1,200 toward the arrears, which was $1,200 toward that 25%. And my practice was literally shut down for 4 months. I have an extraordinary amount of financial insecurity right now. And I am the only person over here trying to parent, trying to pay bills, trying to keep 3 employees, trying to keep a roof over my head. I'm working 3 jobs, the one in which I need my passport to do so that I can continue to pay the $300 every week that I'm paying for the child support, which I'm already taxing doing when I don't know how I'm gonna pay my lease to my office in Southfield next month. And then with our current restrictions, people are not coming to have elective surgical care. So I'm challenged just the same. I don't have a job that is waiting on checks. The monies that I was anticipating on paying back to Kern for the arrears, the 25%, was to come from a lawsuit that I have with an auto company. And of course, given the court system being in just as much disarray as society, they're not, you know that this has been a process with trying to get court cases in and in front of judges and without delays. I have malpractice litigation that is stressing me. I have work that's stressing me. I have this that's stressing me. I mean, I'm literally at wit's end. And I'm asking for your forgiveness for that and give me the 12 months to recover from that and get the arrears taken care of. In addition, I'm asking the court to temporarily just reduce my payment to $300 every week so that I don't come to court with this one. I'm trying to make everything, all these ends meet just the same, because nobody wants this over more than me, no one. And I don't even have certainty with my practice right now, given that the hospitals are being told that they could potentially shut down again elective surgical care. So if it weren't for what we've been going through in the last 12 or 6, 7 months, I can understand what his petition is to the court. However, I have been taxed every single way in regards to financial support. I got the money that kept the practice in place from the government that gave me $12,500 because you only get monies for 2 employees that I have for my practice in this particular practice. So it has been very arduous to stay ahead on anything. So again, I'm asking that you had clemency for me during this time, because I have not been able to do anything more as a surgeon in this healthcare field. I cannot get COVID. I cannot get sick. If I do, everything shuts down. Everyone who's dependent on me gets shut down. So I'm trying. I'm busting my bottom. I need my passport to continue to make the money to pay the $300 a month or every week that I'm paying, because that gives me the $1,200 a month that I'm paying him now. Taking that work from me doesn't help me. It takes money away from me, and I'm going to then fall even further behind. I'm trying to get ahead. And when this litigation finishes, and it should be done within the next 12 months, I should have that amount of money that's going to allow for me to pay him that money toward those arrears. I want this over more than anyone else.
Let me address the tuition issue. Mr. Smith, what exactly is going on with the tuition? Have you applied for tuition assistance, or have you been told whether or not you're eligible for it?
Well, it's been just like, and I just want to remind the court that this all initiated the application for tuition assistance back in 2018, when my current wife and I had decided we would go ahead and apply for it and see if we could get it. We did get it. We got credited in our account. But I also want to remind you and remind the court that we've done this almost every year since 2011. I've been in court in regard to the children's tuition. This is not new. And so at the time, when we applied, they never sent us anything back. They never told us. We really didn't even find out we had won the tuition award until Lakeisha hadn't paid, and they were about to kick Sydney out of school. And the lady at, not at the school, but at the, where you apply for, to make your payments and things of that sort, she contacted us and says, oh, yes, you are in arrears, you have to pay, but it's going to be a different amount. It's not going to be the amount we expected at full tuition. It's going to be the reduced amount, because guess what? You guys won the award. We never even found out. It was around this time during the school year that we found out. So when I applied this year, I wasn't necessarily surprised that they didn't send any emails or anything like that I could submit to the court. But I thought, if I did apply, I'd done what I was supposed to do. So in the interim, since this became an issue, I've been trying to get something, and everyone keeps saying, well, you should have gotten something in writing, but I never got anything back then, never got anything this time. and nobody's stepping up to give me anything in writing because I requested it. So I don't, I have applied, and I even told them I'm ready to apply for next year. I asked when the application goes in. They initially told me the 15th of this month. I want to have that done before today. So of course I went on there, couldn't do it. Contacted them. Now the application for financial aid is moved to November 21st. So in 2 days, I will be sitting at the computer to apply. I don't have any problem applying. It doesn't hurt me to do it. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. If it benefits Lakeisha and the children, I'm all for it. So I did apply. I'm sorry that she doesn't know that, but I did. But we still have a balance left over from 2019 to 2020, where she didn't pay last year's as she was ordered to do, which is the second part of this motion. And so she was supposed to pay that school debt and be caught up, as you said, by July 31st. She was not. And then she submitted to the court as part of her documents, some things she was going back and forth with the payment, the person who make the payment to a school. And all of this is after that date. And the lady was still requesting the money. So she owes $2,310 from the 2019-2020 school year. She hasn't paid 1 cent towards 2020-2021 tuition, which at the time I sent this was the end of September. It was $6,984. As of now, with the fact that we're in November, you would have to add 2 more payments of $1,746 because that's the amount that she's supposed to pay per month. And we're now at $10,476. And so when you look at what's owed, the $10,000 plus the $2,310, her entire arrearage for the school tuition, which we've had to go through year after year after year, also because she's also been in arrears on child support from payment number 1. We're in arrears on the school now for $12,786. And I just want to state one last thing is that on August 31st, as part of an order, you said it was after our show cause hearing then, based on many of these same issues, that the mother is responsible for the entire school cost of children's educational expenses. So I'm not trying to throw anything extra in here. This is based on what we've always had. And again, Lakeisha's coming with excuse after excuse, but in the end, you have to pay your bills. And this is a bill that's due. If not, the girls will be snatched out of school. And I don't know if you remember back in 2018, they were about to be snatched out. I had to go and get some money on my own to keep Kendall in school. But they were taking her. They called me because they were on their way to the classroom to take her out of class. And I could not let that happen.
Your Honor.
Just a second. Mr. Smith, how old are your daughters?
Sydney is now 16, and she's a junior at in high school. And Kendall is now 15, and she's a sophomore in high school.
Thank you. And the school they're attending is?
It's called Bishop McGinnis High School. It's in Kernersville, North Carolina.
Go ahead, Dr. Brentley.
Your Honor, first, again, the question you asked of Kern was, did he apply for financial aid or financial assistance for this year? I have provided to you, and I have been in constant communication with Mrs. Carr regarding the payments for their tuition at Bishop McGinnis High School. Sydney and Kendall have never had a threat, and you know this. They've never been kicked out of school. They've never been directed out of a classroom. They've always, the school's tuition or the financial person has always given me some clemency in regards to making the payments, given the large amount, and me telling them how my income comes in for these payments. So Sydney has never, nor Kendall has ever been threatened or someone being directed to a class. Again, here we are in the setting where this perceived adversarial relationship with this court and me is being used to mask the incompetence and ineptitude of what Kern was supposed to do. He did not make the application payment. I sent you a copy of the communication I had with Mrs. Carr suggesting, and he told the friend of the court referee as well, that there was not, that they don't know why the application didn't go in because no one can find the application. The application was not submitted. This is a court on evidence, and I'm asking you to please respond to this in the sense that there's no evidence that he has applied, and that is a bold-faced lie, and he's trying to use this negative relationship he's perceiving with the court and myself to mask it. And in addition to that, 2019 and 2020's tuition is paid. I had a delay on the transportation payment, which was $2,000 something for transportation. I did not and was not able to make that payment until August. Again, I'm busting my butt trying to get that payment done. I've communicated with Mrs. Carr. I've had conversations with her. She said, Dr. Brentley, let me know when I can draft the money from your account. It's coming from my account after the money comes in. In the beginning of this COVID thing, insurance companies had even stopped on timeliness in regard to getting our payments in to us reimbursement for our surgical services. We were shut down. In addition to that, you know, as well as I know, that the arrears on this account were started when they imputed income to me when this divorce first started. This is not recent. This is all old. From when they imputed income, I could never catch up. I never made enough money to catch up because when they imputed this income for me, then that's when the arrears started collecting and snowballing on me. It's $33,000 that you have there. My goal is to get that paid off. I want this off of me. I want to be up to date with this so we don't ever have to come to court. I got 2 years left in this, and I'm ready for it to end. We've been at this for 7, almost 8 years. I'm just as tired of it as anyone is. But I need some help here. I need some help. He's got his wife and everybody working together over there. I have me. I'm the factory here. I'm the machine. And I'm getting tired because I'm trying to keep up on everything. And all of these further restrictions on trying to stop me from working, incarcerating me and all this other kind of stuff doesn't help anything with our daughters. It doesn't help anything with me trying to make these financial commitments that I have to take care of. Sydney and Kendall's tuition for 19 and 20 is paid. And Kern knows this. He's a very intelligent man. He knows this. The tuition for this year has not been paid because by the end of the year, I'm going to make at least half of that payment and they're going to allow Sydney and Kendall to continue with their education. There's been no threat to Sydney and Kendall not going to school. I would give blood for them to make sure they get education. But you also know I did not have permission or any kind of input on what school they went to. So these fees I'm getting are because—
So Dr. Brentley, you tell me that their tuition is paid for 2019, 2020, but
That's
you sent me an email. You sent me an email from Rosalie Carr,
yes,
the CPA business manager,
yes,
dated October 5th of 2020, that says, as of September 30, the adjusted tuition and bus service for last year is $9,294.
No, that's for this year. That's for this year.
Last year. No, man.
No,
I just.
What year is it? What year is it?
It says for the 2019-2020 school year.
What year is the email? Because I gave you correspondences for the course of time. Let me just find the email.
Well, you know, actually, the
email is from 2021 that she said this, and the bus service, which is the transportation service.
We're not into 2021 yet.
Can you please?
But hold on a minute.
Yep.
The email is dated October 5th of 2020.
And may I please explain it to you? I sent her an email telling her that Sydney and Kendall have not used the bus service this year. The 2020.
I read that. I get that they made an adjustment for that, but this email Well, actually, it's a little confusing, but
Exactly, that's what-
it seems to say that the balance for the 2019-2020 school year is $9,294. Please let me know when I can draft the account.
Yes, and that's it. And that's
Yes, she
the
does.
whole
Now-
series. The whole series of emails that she sent, Your Honor, they're all after the date when she was supposed to have paid by July 31st. When I last talked to Miss Carr was around the end of September. Before I submitted anything, there was no payment, and I had to go in. And I don't know where she's coming from that they're not going to take my kids out of school, because they'll take any kid out of school. I had to meet with her and the principal in regard to, please don't take my kids out of school until I get through with this hearing to find out how payments are going to be made and what payments are going to be made and how much is going to be made. And they said, yes, we will do that for you, Mr. Smith. And then asked me for more, the court documents, so that they can feel more secure on the documents that I've had from the past. All of that last statement that Lakeisha said, 95% of it was completely false. As you know, we've gone through this year after year. Right here, you do have the evidence. I'm looking at a part on an email that she sent on September 23rd, where the 2019-2020 bus transportation was still included. And as I say, it was after that I talked to Ms. Carr, and it was still there. And so,
All right, I'm reading more of the emails, and
Yeah.
I think the problem with that October 5th email is she conflated the 2 years.
yes,
The adjusted, but if you look at the email of September 23rd, that does itemize things, and I think I understand now the confusion. What that email said is that there was still money owed for bus transportation for last year, but it shows nothing due for tuition for last year.
That's
What's
correct.
due
sir.
what's due for tuition is beginning in June of this year for the 2020-2021 school year.
yes. And I
So-
sent a small spreadsheet, and it might be on the back of the motion. But on there, it has it's clear. It was like on total balance due on 10/12/20 was $11,040, and that included the tuition balance due 10/12/20 and the transportation of 2019-2020. And this was
Right.
she
Well,
completed
let me
this.
find. You said you submitted a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it was a small spreadsheet, and it says tuition and fees, Sydney and Kendall Smith, 2020-2020 school year. It was a real simple spreadsheet.
Well, let me find that.
Your Honor, if the spreadsheet is not up to date, it's not going to
Hold
add any
on,
value.
hold on. I'm trying to find it. Kind of hard to address it if I don't have it in front of me. So hold on a second.
It looks like this, Your Honor.
And when did you submit that? Was that with your most recent motion?
Yes, it was, Your Honor. It could have
Yeah,
been one of the additions.
Yeah, it's not attached to my copy. I
Okay.
can't read it. I can't read it on the screen. Give me a moment.
Yes.
I've got a way of pulling it up.
And the
It'll
other
take
thing,
us-
Your Honor, is the
I can only
tuition for
do
the
one. I can only do one thing at a time, Mr. Smith, so
Yes,
please
sir.
hold that.
Yes, sir.
While I'm waiting for this program to open, I'm going to take a very short break. We'll stay on the record. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to try to pull up that document now. So, Mr. Smith, that spreadsheet is not attached to the court's copy. I don't know what happened, but it is not in the court file, and it's not in our electronics records. I want you to hold it up to the screen again, and let me see if I can make it out. Yeah, it's just too small. Let me try something.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. What it shows is, Your Honor, $1,746 per month for tuition from June through October. And then it shows, it first shows the annual tuition fees. It shows the tuition fees monthly, $1,746 June through October, which equaled $8,730. And then transportation again was $2,310 from 2019 to 20, because and then it says total balance due 10/12/20 $11,040.
That's frankly consistent with the email that
Yeah.
Dr. Burntley attached to hers. The only difference
Exactly.
is it's for October instead of for September.
Exactly.
But it does indeed show that there is no tuition due for last year. The tuition that's due is for the current school year.
Yes, I'm not questioning that. It was paid after the date, but I'm not even bothered by that. I was just trying to go with what was still due. Because
All
she
right,
paid that late, but I'm not getting into that. I didn't even want to get into that.
The other thing that I noticed in the email string was that Ms. Carr is saying it's too late to apply for
Yes.
financial assistance for this school year.
Yes, and it would be because you have to. I was instructed that it had to be done before the beginning of the school year. We did get a reprieve because if you hadn't done it, I could have applied again because they gave special opportunity for people because of COVID, but I didn't apply for that because I had already applied for the other thing. So she had asked me in July, she had made a statement that I hadn't registered, and I actually had registered. But what it reminded me was that I needed to go ahead and fill out something for the scholarship. So I went back in, made sure my registration was done, and I went ahead and paid it. One of the things that Lakeisha doesn't know, pretty much whenever Lakeisha talks to Mrs. Carr, she calls me or she'll send me a line. So we were on top of it, but at the time she was even telling Lakeisha that I hadn't even registered, but of course I had registered. And she told me when I did my registration to do everything except for the financial part, which I did, because the financial part includes how they're going to draw money out of your account and things of that sort. She said she would go over that with Lakeisha. And I allowed for it, even though Lakeisha's not supposed to be in contact with the school. I didn't have a problem with that because I thought that was all they were dealing with. I didn't know there was allegations of me not filing and all that. I don't know how I could go about proving this other than, I mean, maybe we can get the people on the phone or something. I don't know. But I did apply. I just didn't get it. And then if you also look through these emails, one of the other things that's really interesting that she also keeps seeing is that there was some question, because Ms. Carr is not the person who makes the selection. She doesn't handle the applications or anything. But she keeps saying to me, well, shouldn't we she keeps saying to me, shouldn't we get Dr. Brentley's financial documents? And you have to keep bringing her back saying, no, that I'm in the end financially responsible. That's why I'm doing the application. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if it's the fact that Lakeisha hasn't been paying the tuition has something to do with it. I don't know. But like I said, like 2 years ago, we didn't receive anything. Didn't receive anything this time either.
All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get an email from Ms. Carr answering 2 questions. Has Mr. Smith applied for financial aid for the school year 2019-2020? I'm sorry, 2020-2021, which is the current year.
But she answered that. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
If so, has any action been taken on the application?
I would tell you that's already been asked by Lakeisha, and it's kind of here that nobody could find any, action or anything like that. And I'm going to tell you again that in 2018, that was the same thing. No one had seen any action until they were about to kick out Sydney. The lady said, oh, and no one had said anything, or they had not reduced the tuition or anything. I found out maybe 2 days before I came to court that, we did have a reduction. And that's when I actually reported to everybody. I reported to you all and Lakeisha that they found that I won, the award back in 2018. And so her tuition was reduced and her debt was reduced. And I would be happy, more than happy to do that this time as well. But again, it's not very simple to find that information out. And I think she speaks to that she didn't see anything in there.
Well, whatever it is that you need to do to satisfy me that there's either been or is going to be an adjustment to the current year's tuition, I want you to do that.
I will certainly do that. I've attempted to do that already, but I'll try again.
And I want something in writing from the school that indicates that.
Okay, and it probably wouldn't come from the school, but I'll have them forward it to the school, and then they would do it.
Whoever it would come from, I want to see what it is. Where is this? What's the status? If it hasn't been acted on, when is it going to be acted on? Or if there's nothing left to be done, whatever the answer is to that, I want some communication from whoever it is. Is it school or is it this facts program?
It's facts. Because when I did this and when I was inquiring with her, she had to call facts as well. So we're both calling facts. So I'll try to do that again. And what I'll try to do is get the contact I had from 2018. I couldn't find it before, but I have a lot of court documents. I'll try to find that and see if I can reach one of those people.
Were you able to get a credit for last school year, 1920?
No, I knew I wasn't going to get that because I couldn't even apply because we brought the girl into Bishop McGinnis late. So I wasn't able to apply. But I requested at the time, but they wouldn't allow me to.
All right. Before I make any ruling, I want an answer to this question. I will tell you, I am, on the one hand, since we've had so many struggles with payment in the past, somewhat skeptical of Dr. Brintley's excuses. The one excuse, though, that I am sympathetic to is the impact that COVID had upon her practice. To have her practice essentially shut down for 4 months out of the year is not in any way something that I have any trouble believing. It was widespread, and I know from contacts I've had with other surgeons and physicians that was extremely difficult for surgeons that do elective surgery.
I'm sorry.
And my inclination is to grant her a little bit of grace to catch up for that. I'm not going to rule on that today. I want to wait until I see whatever it is you can get from the school to satisfy me that you've done everything you can and to get a credit for the current school year. I'm going to adjourn this matter to give you an opportunity to do that. What would be a realistic time frame for you, Mr. Smith?
When I went to the school, they're starting the process of kicking the girls out again. So I need this as soon as possible. And I think realistically, I'll get on the phone with the people from Facts. I got all day off tomorrow. I'll be done by tomorrow. So I can have something to the school by like Wednesday or Thursday. I can have something back from them before.
All right. Well, next Thursday's Thanksgiving, so I'm going to schedule it for the following Thursday. I'm going to adjourn until 10:30, December 3rd, and we'll see you both back here then.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All
right.
Unbelievable.
Okay, Ms. Rodriguez, I just finished with the other matter. for whatever reason, Mr. Rodriguez has not appeared. So give me just a moment to pull your file.
Okay.
All right, your motion addresses two of your children not coming to visit you. And last year's tax filing. And I guess that's it. It looks like a question about your child support. So let me ask you about the tax filing. What's the issue there?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when we first got divorced, I accidentally claimed more than what I was supposed to, and you had me pay him back a big lump sum. And then when he did it this past year, now he's paying me $100 a month is getting taken off of the amount I pay every month, which is making me behind. So now they're going to keep my taxes this coming year.
Oh, I got you. It's not, I got you.
So when
because you have an arrearage, your tax return for the current year, which you'll be seeking after the first of the year, is likely to be attached.
Yes, but I shouldn't be behind because it comes out of my check every 2 weeks. So the reason, how she explained it, I talked to our worker at front of the court when they sent me a notice saying I was behind. It's because the monthly obligation is not being made because that $100 is coming off. So how she explained it, she told me I would have to go in front of you and you would have to change it to where you can be able to change it. I can't remember. It's been a few months to where I can't remember. You would have to probably contact her and see but she made a good point. Since the monthly obligation is not being made, that's why it's in arrearages, even though I've been paying, and she sees where I've been paying constantly since I've been at my job for 2.5 years.
So since in this job, they're withholding from you the maximum amount, but it's not enough to get rid of all of your arrearage?
Well, I wasn't ever in arrearages until the tax stuff happened, and they deduct the $100 now. I've never been in arrearages. And I'm like $500 and something behind in arrearages.
All right, what I will do is contact the person at the front of the court that's responsible for your child support monitoring, and see if I can get an explanation, if there's something I can do to provide relief. Once I understand what it is, I will address that.
Yeah, because it's like he was supposed to owe me over $9,000 and only $100 I get reimbursed. So it's going to be like 2024 by the time all that is paid off. And so she said, most likely next year I'm going to be in arrearages also. I mean, I had to pay out in the taxes last year because he claimed all the kids when he wasn't supposed to. And now they're going to keep my taxes or some of my taxes this year because I'm in arrearages.
All right, I will definitely look into that and see if I can get a good explanation. You, you were in front of me back in January. I remember the issue of the children seeing a therapist was brought up, and I remember from recently listening to the hearing that the therapist said there's nothing she can do to address this issue. These children don't want to come and spend parenting time with you.
Right.
There are times when I step in when I think it's because of the father or whichever parent that is discouraging parenting time, that's trying to discourage the children from going to parenting time. Mr. Rodriguez is not doing that. He's encouraging the children to go to see you. They just don't want to go.
Judge, I mean, you have your doubts saying that you don't believe Mr. Rodriguez, but I mean, things have gotten a little bit better, but right now the kids are like sneaking to talk to me. Like, both of them have been lying to Mr. Rodriguez and his wife, saying they haven't talked to me, and they have. But they just hear the backlash from him when they do tell me or do say that they've talked to me. Like, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, Damien said, nope, he hasn't talked to me. And they found out he was lying. And now they're telling him he's fake because he talks to me behind their back, and they found out. And then Mariah, a week ago, she came out. It was her birthday. I dropped her gift off. They seen on the camera she was out there for like 32 minutes. She told them she was only out in the driveway talking to me for a couple minutes to get her gift. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I've just asked the kids, hey, can you at least go out to eat with me for an hour? You don't have to come to my house. You don't have to spend the night. When you're ready to go back, I'll take you back. I've tried literally everything. I mean, I pay my child support. I reach out to them.
But it sounds to me like you're making some headway.
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, I don't have no say on anything. We're supposed to share, the custody. He doesn't call me and let me know about their appointments, about schooling. Nothing. I mean, I've been literally doing the best I can. I just, completed online schooling to get my high school diploma. I mean, I'm trying anything to better myself. We all make mistakes. I do regret the mistake I made in 2017 with them. I've apologized to them. I mean, I don't know what else more to do. I miss all the holidays. I've missed so much parenting time in the last few years. I pay my child support, and I still don't get anywhere.
What you're telling me that you're doing, trying to repair a damaged relationship, is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have been.
And it sounds like it's at least beginning to work. They're opening up. I'm surprised Damien's talking to you at all. I'm glad he is. Because he factors in this pretty heavily. And now Mariah is talking to you.
But it's only do it when Mr. Rodriguez and the wife's not around. If they're home by themselves, like if I call them right now and reach out to them, 9 times out of 10, they might answer because the other two are at work. It seems like when those two are around, I don't get nothing. I can drop Dayton off, the middle one, and if those two are home, nothing. If they're not home, they'll come out and talk to me for 20 minutes. It's just something about when they're around. And that's why I have a feeling, and I know that it's something with them is why they act the way they do. And I'm not the only one that sees it. My dad sees it. Friends see it. It's not right. Even
why do you think they're doing that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, Mr. Rodriguez is still upset that we got a divorce, you know. I don't know. It's a headache, and I've tried everything. For their birthdays, even just a random day. I tell them, hey, if you guys want to go out to eat with me for an hour, all three of you can go. Just one-on-one could go. Just a couple blocks away from Mr. Rodriguez's house, and I'll take you right back. And no, they don't. So I'm trying to make it one step. I'm not saying just come to my house and go with me every day of my parenting time, but we can't move forward if they don't go with me for an hour on this day or see me on my holiday or anything. I've literally tried. I've talked to Mr. Rodriguez about it, and I said, can you just make them go with me for an hour, especially on their birthdays, one-on-one time? And he don't make them.
Well, what the only thing I can tell you is keep doing what you're doing. I can issue an order that specifically directs Mr. Rodriguez to do everything within his power to encourage the children to spend time with you. Whenever he's been in front of me, he said he wants the children to have a relationship with you, that he does encourage them to go, and that they just tell him they don't want to go. Now, maybe they're not telling you the same thing because they don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't know. But given they talked to a therapist, so that wouldn't have been Dad's involvement. That was the therapist saying, I've talked to these kids. There's nothing I can do. They just don't want to see their mother. And the best thing you can do is to do everything in your power to try to convince them to spend time with you. And I will issue an order directing Mr. Rodriguez to be fully compliant with that. But before I issue any order, I am going to look into what's going on at the front of the court. And if I could provide you some relief, I will include that in my order.
Okay, so I guess, my whole question is, what's the sense of having a court order if he's not following it? Like, we've had this court order for years, and he's not following it.
I understand that, ma'am, but when I've got older children who are refusing to go, it's difficult. I don't accept this from younger children, but when kids get into their teenage years, well, I get that.
And we've been this for the last couple years. Like, she's 12, able to make up her own mind. Damien's going on 17. And I can accept that fact.
I thought Mariah was 13.
She just turned 13, yeah, sorry. The beginning of the month.
All right, well, the problem that I have when I have older children that are refusing to see a parent, I can't force a parent to physically put them in a car and take them somewhere. It's just counterproductive. Right. The best thing we can do is to get her to the point where she wants to spend time with you. And the best way for that to happen is for you to continue to reach out to her. Hopefully at some point she'll see that Mom knows she made mistakes, that she's genuinely sorry, that she really loves me, that she wants to spend time with me. Mm-hmm. And I think the more that you do that, the greater the likelihood she's going to let down her guard and want to spend time with you. But I will issue an order, strongly worded, encouraging Mr. Rodriguez to do what he needs to do to see that his children have a relationship with their mother. I'm not going to issue an order, though, until I look into things at the front of the court, because I want that order to be encompassing of what you brought before me today.
Okay, like the whole thing is I don't have no rights, so I don't have no rights on the schooling, doctors, nothing, and I pay my child support. I mean, I guess I'm just confused on how the whole court system is working. Like, I'm supposed to have all this parenting time. I've lost so many years of parenting time and everything, and I'm paying my child support. I've been doing everything I am, and I'm still losing at the end of the day.
All right, well, I'm somewhat sympathetic, ma'am, to what you're saying, but I also recognize that you bear a lot of the blame for why your children are acting the way that they're acting. And the best way to turn that around is for you to make a continued effort to convince them that mom's a different person, that she loves me, and that's the best way for you to repair this relationship.
I mean, I have been doing that for years.
Well, keep doing it, ma'am. That's the best